now.
Hello, my name is Woodlino from SOSA Projects Phnom Penh.
And my name is Eva Lloyd from the School of Built Environment at UNSW Sydney. Today, what we're going to talk about is what happens now to virtual, international, community engaged education. We're going to discuss a Cambodia Urban Studies Professional Placement Program, where through the disciplinary lens of the built environment, students explore vulnerability and resilience of marginalised groups in Phnom Penh. And they do this by investigating bottom-up design by citizens on the ground. They focus on observing, listening, and analysis rather than on designing or proposing design solutions. From a professional skills perspective, students learn to collaborate in interdisciplinary and intercultural groups and to consider ways that they might be civically engaged as design professionals.
The program runs through UNSW Sydney in partnership with two Cambodian creative and urban not-for-profit organizations, SOSA Projects and New Khmer Architecture. The most recent edition teams 8 students from 6 universities in Australia, Cambodia, and China. One of the benefits of the online program has been an increased reach and access for students, institutions, and other guests, which was not as feasible when we were doing face-to-face class.
So over the past 6 years now, the course has had to adapt to changing conditions. The program grew from an urban street life studies course in 2015, and in 2018, we talked about expanding this into a month-long professional project in face-to-face mode in Phnom Penh. In 2020, we trialed this in a hybrid mode. So we had students that were face-to-face in Australia and face-to-face in Cambodia, and they met together online. And in 2021, with lockdowns in both Sydney and in Phnom Penh, the course ran and is currently running fully online.
We know that face-to-face community engaged courses can be very transformative for the students and community members. So we are wondering if this is possible in an online setting. So what we are trying to understand is, can a meaningful connection to place be fostered online? Can an intercultural teamwork be productive in a virtual setting? And can a willingness to civic engagement be cultivated through virtual interaction? We believe that there may be interconnections between these 3 components, with intercultural collaboration supporting a connection to place, and both of these helping to foster civic engagement.
So what we would like to do now is talk through some examples of how we have tried to foster these 3 aspects in both hybrid and fully online modes of learning. Firstly, what we've tried to hold on to is to give students the reins as investigators. We start with a fairly broad project scope and ask student teams to determine their own research pathway within this scope. What we've found is this more self-directed exploration helps students to form their own connection to place and take ownership of their work, both face-to-face and online. So to give an example of this, students this year have been asked to explore the role of Phnom Penh's public spaces in supporting marginalised groups in the pandemic. And this student team shown here have narrowed their investigation to look at the role of the elderly in informal food networks that have ensured resilience during the pandemic in Phnom Penh.
Secondly, we focus on understanding place through direct connections to students from that place. So we establish intercultural teams that pairs Australian and Cambodian students. We ask Cambodian students to be the eyes on the ground, drawing from their direct site research and lived experience to relay findings back to the UNSW students who partnered in an online citizen interview online research, and the contribution of their own lived experience. These partnerships are also reflected in the co-facilitation of the course, where me, myself, and our colleague, Pan Serai Panya, work together to co-design and co-supervise the project. One aspect we have found challenging as supervisors in the online context is our ability to gauge and support teamwork dynamics without the type of the incidental, informal meetups that occur when we were all in a physical location. We feel that there is room for informal drop-in sessions to allow this to occur.
So thirdly, we try to even further shape these connections to place by connecting students with key urban actors. And these include community members who have self-initiated projects, members of grassroots organizations, and also larger NGOs. We try to scaffold the students' learning here so that students start by analyzing citizen voices on social media, as you can see on the left, and then they're connected directly with these voices through online interviews and discussions. The big change online for us has been a shift away from a relationship with a single community towards connections and relationships with citizens across Phnom Penh. And this has had the benefit of reduced pressure on this single community to host a group of students at a time when more pressing needs are present. What it's also done is has allowed students to kind of compare and contrast the needs of really diverse groups within Phnom Penh.
As well as connection to people, we have also worked to foster a sense of place in the virtual realm, exploring alternatives to our physical workspace. So we use different platforms, including Facebook chit chat group messages, as a place for incidental chats and daily check-ins. We use Zoom as our formal weekly meetings, and we use Miro as our collaborative workspace to virtually note, document, and share work in progress. We operated in much less structured manner last year and have found that actually students' understanding have improved this year, particularly due to the archived visual process supported by platforms such as Miro.
Finally, we have tried to really leverage the public online realm to make students' research very accessible and to build ongoing citizen participation. So this year, what we're trying to do is ask students to present their findings through an online exhibition. And we've said to students, this exhibition must include a participative, crowdsourced element, really to allow for ongoing collection of these on-the-ground stories beyond the end of the students' project. And you can see here students beginning to collect accounts of informal street food vendors and food donors in Phnom Penh streets during the pandemic. And on the right there, encouraging the audience to add to these stories.
We have now run 2 iterations of this course, one hybrid and one online, and we'll share some preliminary qualitative feedback that touches on the idea that a strong and very real connection to people can help foster a connection to place, and that this in turn can inspire civic engagement.
So there were 2 quotes from students that really stood out to us and that we wanted to share today. One of our Cambodian students talked about the value and importance in creating and designing in collaboration with the community as something that they became unexpectedly passionate about and are interested in pursuing as a career path. And this was a student that took the online version of this course. And then another online student from UNSW talked about the tangible, real, and authentic nature of the course, allowing her to see things in a really different way and driving her interest to understand Cambodia more.
It is important here to note that for all of this to occur in a meaningful manner, it has been through relationships. Sometimes it's messy, but always imbued with trust and flexibility. These relationships have evolved slowly over time. This often goes against institutional pushes for speed and scale, but it is crucial to hold on to. It has allowed us to adapt to the changing conditions, such as the pandemic and online learning. As you could see here, the relationships or partnership between the students in both contexts in Cambodia and Australia, has expanded to a larger network of the ecology of both sides.
So to close, we wanted to return to our original question. What happens now to virtual, international, community-engaged education? We really believe its ability to provide students access to community projects that are few and far between at many universities these days means it should stay. And perhaps it should be scaffolded throughout programs with face-to-face learning rather than replacing face-to-face learning or being lost altogether.
We also believe that it should build connection to place through connection with people. We highly value the teaming up of students from diverse contexts and ensuring all students can exercise their agency. In turn, we suggest that the real virtual project can inspire civic engagement.
There's a really far-reaching network of collaborators, as Lina was talking about, who have been involved in shaping this program over the past 6 years. And so we would like to end by acknowledging them all here. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. And please don't hesitate to reach out to Lino or to myself if you would like to talk to us about any of this further. We have our emails here and we'll see some of you in the discussion now. Thank you.
Thank you.